Masters of the Universe is a funny old cartoon and a funny old figure line and mythos. Mainly because it's neither sorcery nor science, it's mashed up into one great big whole. There's only a few properties, a few IPs out there that actually do this. Star Wars being one of the most famous. They sort of mash up a bit of science and a bit of sorcery and spirituality in there as well. But He-Man sort of went with it in a big way and had characters that sort of reflected that more so than anything. So you had your mystical characters like Skeletor, Orko, even Beastman. And then you had characters like this guy. Although you might not really know this guy. This is Cronus, who would become Trapjaw. But at the moment, he's Cronus. He's a criminal from the dimension of Infinita, which is Skeletor's home dimension in some continuities. In others, of course, he's Eternian, and in others, he's something completely different altogether. But in the Masters of the Universe Classics continuity, they sort of want to mash everything up and turn it into one aligned continuity, kind of like Hasbro do with Transformers. And so in this continuity, he is from Infinita. Now, he's a criminal, no matter what he does. In the original mini-comic, he was from another dimension, not named as Infinita, but slammed into Skeletor, trying to go to other dimensions to capture Castle Grayskull. Trapjaw was then held to the castle by a magical cord that made him very, very strong indeed. And he and Skeletor had to join two halves of the power sword, one of the few times this actually happened, to defeat him, cut the magical cord, and Trapjaw was basically not destroyed but sort of seriously hurt, and Skeletor carried him back to Snake Mountain to become one of his minions. In the Filmation cartoon, he was just a thug from the prison star, was where he ended up, and Skeletor freed him and said, "You're the master of robotics, the master of mechanics now. You make stuff for me, you invent stuff for me." And that's what Trapjaw did, basically. Not much to say, really. In the 2002 cartoon, he again was just a hired thug for Skeletor, although he did have a couple of episodes where he was prominent. One of them was where, and he did something similar in the original cartoon. He ate the elements Eternium. There you go, not Cybertonium. That's something completely different. This was Eternium, which made him stronger, and he had to be force-fed Deuterium to make him weaker and therefore able to be beaten. So he has his moments, does old Trapjaw. In the original cartoon, he was always going off and sort of striking out on his own and not working with Skeletor as such. If I remember, the House of Chakotay, he was actually one of the main villains in the House of Chakotay. So, you know, he wasn't always around if Skeletor was around, and vice versa. He wasn't at Skeletor's beck and call as much as some of the villains. He had his own agenda, did old Trapjaw. I think at the end of the day, he just really wanted to beat He-Man. He just didn't like He-Man being the strongest guy of all, and he sort of wanted to beat him just to prove, see, yeah, I'm the strongest. Because he was always not only this inventor guy, but he liked sort of to prove that he was a muscle guy as well, that he could get things done with brute force. I'm guessing that comes from his criminal past, possibly, I don't know. But in any case, this figure, is one of the coolest figures I own, full stop. Not only in the Masters of the Universe Classics line, but just generally. Thankfully, Jai sold him to me a little while back, and I was very, very happy because I'd wanted Trapjaw in my collection for the longest time. But yeah, here he is as Cronus. Now, he's got his packaging here. Nothing really to report. Really, it's the general packaging you always get. What is interesting is the stuff on the back, which I will just put in shot, I hope. There you go. I'm hoping that's in shot anyway. If not, then his real name, as I said, is Cronus. He's an insane criminal from the dimension of Infinita. Cronus was one of several evil warriors freed from an intergalactic prison by Keldor to boost his ranks during the stance of the Great Unrest. After serving Keldor for years, Cronus grew ambitious and raised an army of his own to challenge his master. Now powerful overlord of evil, Skeletor defeated Cronus, breaking his jaw and arm and leaving him for dead. Found and rebuilt by Triclops, Cronus was transformed by him into a Trapjaw, a man armed with combat weapons and an iron jaw. Now, when they say he broke his arm and broke his jaw, I think what it means to say is ripped them off, because otherwise, well, you'll see later on. But this is Cronus. He looks very much like an intergalactic wrestler to me. Very, very nice figure. I do like the shine on his arms. They sort of look pseudo-cybernetic, already. I don't know if that's the case or it's just body armour that he's got on there, but it is a really nice figure. The shade of blue on this guy is really nice. They've done everything right to make him look like a proto Trapjaw would do. Because of course we never got that figure years and years and years ago. So he's got the Trapjaw legs that have been used for characters such as Manny Faces as well. The arms, as far as I'm aware, haven't been used for anything else. I could be wrong on that, so yeah, please leave me a comment if that is the case. You might sort of notice that he's missing a bit on his arm, sort of here. The reason for this is obvious. This arm is the arm that gets ripped off. But we'll have a look. Well, I'll show you first what you can do to sort of alleviate that. What you do, pull the arm off. Very easy to do. You've got this cuff, this shoulder cuff, which goes on. And it goes on like that. And that's part of his Trapjaw, guys. Now, a lot of people actually put his arm in normal human arm like that and say, well, he always had that because he was always a bit cybernetic. And he fills it out a bit more. Just fills out that area. Matches the other arm a bit because that's got this cybernetic cuff on as well. But in this form, obviously, his head goes round 360 degrees. His arm goes round and up and down. And he's got bicep swivels. And he's got elbow articulation as well, and his hands go round and round and round. He's got the ab crunch, which isn't hindered much by the shoulder cuff there. And obviously his waist can go round. His legs, he can do a perceptor kick, go forward, go back. He's got the foot, the thigh swivel there as well. He's got good knee articulation, and he's got boot cut articulation, ankle up and down, and it's on a slight rocker. It's not as much as some of the later figures would be, but it's on a little bit of a rocker, so that's absolutely fine. Now, of course, things didn't go well for Cronus when he tried to raise an army against Skeletor. Skeletor broke his jaw and broke his arm. So, first off, we're going to break his arm as well. Oh no, his arm came off. It is now broken. But Triclops came to save the day and gave him this, which is a cybernetic arm, which goes into that socket very nicely. If it does, there you go, clicks in very, very nicely and very, very easily. And now he has an arm which basically does much of the same stuff as the other one did. So it does go from side to side, it does move at the shoulder, and it does have elbow articulation there. And yeah, this bit goes round as well. He's got a bicep swivel, so his arm does go round and round and round. So it's very, very nice. Now I'll show you the attachments a bit later on, because obviously what happened next was that his jaw was broken, by which I mean fucking hacked off pretty much, and he got a new head given to him by Triclops, and it turned out like that. Basically, I like the way that his face is completely different. He's still got pretty much the same helmet, but his face is completely different, down to the fact that he's got different coloured skin. Now, the horror fan in me basically wants to say, well, that's because that skin is putrefied. It's rotted, it's gone gangrene. It's horrible. That's the reason why he's insane. It drove him even more insane than it already did. He also got a nice groovy green belt as well. That's to put his attachments on, which we'll talk about in a moment. I still want to talk about his head, basically. Obviously Skeletor, they're not going to say it in what amounts to a children's toy line, in case kids get hold of it and don't want to sort of play with the toy because they're scared that they're playing with somebody who had the jaw ripped off. Quite understandable. But I think pretty much the implication there is that he did have his jaw lopped off. And this is shown even more when you actually open his trap jaw chunk. What you see in there is just horrific. I don't know if the camera can pick that up at all, but that's horrific. It's just a mangled red mess, which is great. I think it's super cool and groovy and horrible and yeah, very, very nasty, and I don't know, I just have a lot of love for this figure. Apart from the belt, which doesn't seem to want to go back on. But, oh, there it is. It's gone. I think. Yes, it is on now. The belt didn't want to go on for whatever reason, because it doesn't like me very much. There you go. On. So, yeah. The head again goes 360. Can open really, really wide like that to show his horrible mutilated tongue and what's left of his jaw. And obviously it can shut it. He's even got the little ring on top. So So you can put a line through, and that's how he was supposed to come down, sort of like a zip line, as the original toy would. Very, very odd. He doesn't come with attachments. He comes with the 3 you see in the Filmation show. I don't know if you can see that one particularly well, but obviously you got a hook there. These just attach on, just peg onto the arm there. Very, very simple, very, very easy, very, very nice. So you can sort of articulate that however you want, really. You can go up, down like that. You can have it to the side. You can have it as front and do sort of a chopping motion. This cybernetic arm is very, very good and nice and easy to pose. I really do like it a lot. Next, he's got a sort of robotic claw arm, grabber arm. It's very, very nice. The claw, the grabber, does open and close. Just the top part opens and closes. You can grab stuff with it. So you can get his... I want to put my hook arm on, but I need to print it over to this arm. So you can take it over to there and stuff. Brilliant. Really, really cool. I love a robotic grabber arm, I do. But again, that's not... It's not the one everybody will have on, I'm guessing, because he does have a fucking Lasertron, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a Lasertron and he knows how to use it. Again, clips in really, really easy. And seriously, folks, this is the money shot. This thing is just bloody great. I love having him pose with a Lasertron. Sadly, it goes in first time, unlike on the show. It never sort of went in first time. But again, you can pose this however you want. One of my favourite poses is that one. If I'm being honest, just stood there with his Lasertron in arm saying, yeah, I'm going to fuck you up, mate. I'm going to mess you up. Good, I am. It's a great toy. It's a brilliant toy. One of the nicest things about, you get little hooks on there, so you can actually hook his little attachments on to his belt, like so. So they hook on there, like that, and just sort of hang there. You don't have to store them away. You can maybe get them lost. It's a great figure. It's one of the best Masters of the Universe figures, and one of the earliest, I think, as well. Trapjaw's a great character. He's James Eatock's favourite character, so that says how good a character the guy is. Whenever he strikes out on his own in He-Man, in the cartoon, is always a joy to see, because he's quite clever. He's not one of the stupider thugs that Skeletor hired. He's got ambitions of his own. They may not be to rule the universe. They may just be rich, or just have enough money to sort of rule a part of the universe. But he's always up there. He's always got a plan, as Trapjaw. As James Eatock is wont to say a lot, he is the man. So if you can find this guy, seriously get him. I mean, I got him for a steal, I must admit, because a mate sold him to me. But you can go on eBay, you can get lucky, you can find this guy. I think about $40, £40 is about what you're looking at, really, to buy him. Yeah. Seriously, he's a must. You need to go get this guy. He's very, very cool. I shall be back next week. And I shall be looking at a couple of Turtles baddies. Oh yes, because I've started to sort of see Turtles as well, because they're bringing some out. And also, I get paid soon, so hopefully I can get some of these Age of Extinction Dinobot character things that people keep going on about. Because I kind of want some of them. So Transformers getting high in the ascendance again as well. And hopefully I should have seen Godzilla by the next time I see you, I hope. But in the meantime, seriously, try and grab hold of this guy. He's a very cool figure to have. And I'm very, very happy to have him myself. Until next time, folks, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye for now.